is this Mark 7 Golf GTI Clubsport S that was worth $33,995, brand new, 7.5 years ago in 2016, worth £50,000 today. Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Now, cars, like most consumer goods, become worth less the older they get. But there are some special cars that can defy depreciation and actually go up in value the older they get. I'm talking about the low volume, limited production specials that wowed the journos when they were new, and their special qualities continue to be appreciated, unaffected by the onward charge of automotive progress. I'm talking about cars from prestigious brands like Ferrari, Porsche, BMW. Well, now we can add a humble Volkswagen, the people's car, to that list, because this very Golf is currently advertised for 50% more than its original asking price 7.5 years ago, back in 2016, when it was brand new. So in today's video, I'm going to answer the question, is this Golf worth 50,000 of your pounds, or is it just an optimistic asking price from an opportunist seller who's waiting for someone to come along with more money than sense? Well, condition is key to any car's value, particularly a Clubsport S. So in today's video, we're going to have a thorough look at the outside and inside and even underneath this Clubsport S with just 380 miles on the clock. But before we get started, let me remind you guys how you can support the channel. As ever, and I get bored of saying this as well, the easiest way to do that is simply to subscribe. I really appreciate every single one of the 57,000 and a bit subscriptions, but we still get a lot of views from non-subscribers. So if you like what you see, then please support the channel and subscribe. I'm sure you know how to do that by now. Also, I continue to be buying cars for a very reputable dealer, and we are looking to purchase right now performance Volkswagen Group cars up to 5 years old. They must be unmodified, full service history, and average mileage or below. If you've got anything like that, and we're pretty open-minded at the moment, then get in touch with me directly, andrew@volkswizard.co.uk. While condition is important when assessing a car's value, rarity and pedigree play a massive effect too. For example, a normal 2016 Golf in as new condition with delivery mileage would be worth significantly less than its new list price, especially when allowing for inflation. There are a number of things that make the Clubsport S a somewhat better investment though. Firstly, it seems strange to say this about a people's car, but it is a very rare car, with just 400 ever made, 150 of which came to the UK, many of which have since been exported, and one unfortunate UK car suffered flood damage and was written off. VW even individually numbered them with a factory-fitted plaque stating each car's position in the run. They could have just stated one of 400 like a lot of other much more expensive limited editions, but this was far more than just a marketing exercise. Motorsport homologation is like gold dust when it comes to collectible cars, but the Clubsport S doesn't benefit from this. However, it does have the next best thing, as it was built purely to set a front-wheel drive lap record at the Nürburgring's gnarly Nordschleife, which it aced on the 20th of April 2016 with racer and VW development driver Benny Leuchter at the wheel. Unlike motorsport, there are no rules when it comes to ring records, so manufacturers often use non-production spec cars. However, VW proudly state that each and every one of the customer cars can match the time set by Benny's car. Further adding to the Clubsport S's pedigree is the team behind it, which was led by ex-Porsche chassis engineer Carsten Schebstadt, who had previously been responsible for some of Porsche's best ever GT cars, which explains why those who were blown away when they tested the car often referred to a Porsche-like polish to the way the chassis performed both on the road and the track. And it was this polish that led to one of the most influential performance car publications, Evo magazine, giving the Clubsport S the runner-up spot in their prestigious annual Car of the Year awards, just behind the incredible but over twice as common Porsche 911R, of which 991 were manufactured. Accolades don't get much better than that. Okay, before we have a forensic look at this car's condition, let's just get the basics out of the way. So 380 miles from new and just 2 owners from new. It's quite important to emphasize that because a lot of Clubsport S's have been passed from owner to owner, a bit like works of art would be, and some of them have got 5 or 6 or even more owners, and I've covered delivery mileage as well. So it's definitely an asset for this car that it's just had 2 owners from new, and that means you can trust the mileage as well, but the condition really does speak for itself. So it's got no paint protection film on it. It is all original. I gather it's had a battery. The guys here, where it is for sale by APS Specialist Vehicles in Brackley, have done a full service on it. They're probably the UK's leading Clubsport S specialist, so they know these cars inside out. It's had everything. It's had diff oil, it's had coolant, it's had spark plugs, it's had the full works, so it's ready to go. Okay, let's start off at the front then, where even the best car can suffer from stone chips. So we're running quite a high resolution on the camera today, so you should be able to see the bodywork in detail, and there is no paintwork performed on this car. It's all original, so there is not one chip on that bonnet. That's a bit of dirt, and actually the bumper is the same. White's pretty forgiving when it comes to chips, but they will still be visible. The light today is actually perfect for doing this. Headlights as well can give away chips because it's easy to paint a bumper or a bonnet, but chips on a headlight just tend to get left. So that is perfection. No muck in there around the radiator. No bugs on the radar. Original number plates, supplied from new by Inchcape Macclesfield. It's number 122, by the way. Okay, so we're happy with the front of the car. Let's move on to the front wheels. So we've got the original late 2016 manufactured Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 semi-slick tyres on the original Pretoria wheels. Now, when I've made videos on my Clubsport S, some people have posted that why do I have the wrong wheels on my cars all the time? Well, this is the standard correct spec for the Clubsport S. And this whole car is completely standard. In fact, my car, apart from the R600 intake, is completely standard as well. So, yeah, I should just point out it's a completely original car. Even though they're the same brake calipers on the Clubsport Edition 40 and actually the GTI Performance, they say Clubsport S on them. So these are completely unsullied. There's no brake dust, there's no discoloration. They're all perfect. The wheels are perfect as well. There's a little bit of dirt there from the discs, which unfortunately do corrode, even on cars that are very seldomly used. In fact, especially on cars that are seldomly used. Got all the wheel nut caps. We've got the correct wheel centers without the red trim around them, which you get on the Edition 40s. And you can see in the wheel arch there, it's you know, exceptionally good. Down the side of the car, well, it's not impossible a car that sits around will get adored by other cars, but no, this has been adored, not adored. Down here where stones will flick up, especially with Pretorias because they stick out that little bit more than 18-inch wheels, it's all perfect. Mirror casings are perfect. Let's just have a look at the windscreen. So we've got the original Volkswagen Pilkington screen in there, and as you can imagine, it's perfect. Leading edge of the roof, perfection. This mirror casing again, perfect. This wheel, perfect. So there is a little bit of corrosion on the brake discs, but that's just unavoidable really. You can still see the geomet coating is still present there, but it doesn't sort of last forever. It's not really designed to last forever, but there's no lip on there at all. No, it's all lovely. Again, down the side, not a ripple. Very good. Now this is not a metallic paint, but it's interesting to compare it to this Supra, which is also for sale here at APS Specialist Vehicles. Actually, it's just been sold. This is a pearl effect paint, but under this critical light, this pure white actually looks no less glossy than the Supras. Okay, UK cars don't get the black roof unless they're black, of course. So this is correct as well. In other markets, you could have black wheels, you could have black roof. This is exactly how all the UK cars were. You could spec air conditioning or not have it, but this car has got it, which is probably a good thing. Even Benny Leuchter's road car, which is given by Volkswagen, does have air conditioning. Let's have a look at the back disc. So again, there's a bit of corrosion which is unavoidable, but the geomet's even better on the back here. Calipers, perfect. There's no lip at all. Incredible. Let's just have a look in the arch. Yeah, lovely. We'll have a proper look underneath shortly, so sit tight for that. And let's come round to the back then. So we've got the standard cherry red rear lights, which are the same as on the Golf R, and Clubsport Edition 40 is different to the normal GTIs. We have got the twin exhaust tailpipes with no discoloration on there at all. These aren't PPF cars, so they do soot up their exhaust pretty quickly. Again, original number plate from Macclesfield Volkswagen on the back there. We've got the red GTI badge. Often the lights will become marred with swirl marks, but this is perfect. You should see in this light, it's a pretty clear reflection on there. Load lips, very vulnerable to damage on cars that actually get used, and this is, yeah, there. It's perfection. Let's have a look at down the sides from this angle. Okay, we'll look inside. Let's just start with the boot. Now, so again, this is correct. The Clubsport S, there's nothing in here at all, apart from a carpet on the boot floor. We've got the net, we've got the pole, we've got no back seat, no rear seat belts. We do have the door cards still present, and the smell. I wish I could capture this for you. Mine does still smell a bit like this, even though it's been used. But this is much stronger, taking me straight back to Murray Volkswagen in Newton Abbot in December the 17th, 2016, when I collected my own one. No marks on the scaffold pole at all. Yeah, perfection. Okay, let's start off then with the passenger side. So, optional on the Clubsport S Edition 40, standard on the Clubsport S with these Recaro bucket seats. They are beautiful, but they're very prone to damage because the bolsters are very prominent. And it can be passenger side or driver side, it makes no odds. As you can see here, they are perfect. Beautiful. And you can fold them forward, like so. They don't really fold very far, and there's not much you can do in here, really. Maybe put some coats, but you just don't want to scratch the backs of these seats, which are, it's pretty hard to show you, but they are perfect. Headlining is perfect. Have we got some random sunglasses left in there? No, because it's barely been used. We have the original floor mats, which come with the Clubsport Edition 40 and actually the TCR. We shouldn't have the back mats, which we don't, because it's a two-seater car. And that logo is from the Valitor, so that's just temporary. You can get rid of that if you don't like it. In here we have the locking wheel bolt key and the packet for the sat-nav SD card. I'm not sure where the towing eye is, because that would have been given to the owner after they collected it. It's actually a 30th of November 2016 car, this one, which is actually quite unusual because most of them were into December, so it's one of the first to hit the UK. Just perfect down here, no scratches on there. No kicking of there. Glove box lid undamaged. Center console good. Piano black, untarnished. Okay, let's head over to the hot seat, which can be hot because heated seats were standard, even though these cars lost some bits like the ambient lighting you got on the normal GTIs. We don't have a center armrest. So this is the crucial bit of a Clubsport S here. And a lot of cars sat in showrooms or on display for months at optimistic asking prices. People were getting in and out of them all the time. The bolsters can be quite tired on those. This one is, say, perfect. Lower bolster, perfect. Back of the seats, particularly down here, prone to kicking, but nobody's going to be getting in the back of these, so that's good. Standard red trim on the seat belt. Again, a perfect floor mat, stainless pedal standard. Plastic dead pedal for us in the UK market. No sill protectors. Maybe a tiny little mark there, but I'm sure that'll polish out. I might have done that myself. These haven't been messed with. It's all beautiful. Door card. untouched. Steering wheel, well, it's Alcantara, so it can get quite tarnished, but it looks mint. Gear knob, well, as you'd expect, it's not really done many gear changes in its 380 miles. That is perfect. You've got the standard Discover navigation with this car, and this car, like I mentioned, has got the normal climate control option. There's no cruise control on this car, just some blanks where the buttons would be on the steering wheel. And there's a key with the GTI logo on it, so I am allowed to sit in it, so let's get in. Okay, I'll just shut the door, and there you go, 380 miles. And I need to press the clutch to start it, of course, it's a manual. And there we go, starts up crisply, idles well. Everything's pretty normal. Okay, now let's have a look under the bonnet. So no soundproofing underneath this car's bonnet. This is correct. As you can see, all the bonnet nuts are unsullied. The wing bolts are as well. So in here it's, yeah, pretty much like new. It has had a new battery, which looks like a Bosch. So it's not a genuine Volkswagen one. Something you can easily swap if that matters to you. So it's completely unmodified down here. We have the EA888 engine, 2 litre, 1,984 cc, 4-cylinder turbocharged, 310 metric horsepower, which was actually more than the Golf R when this car came out. The Golf R then got this engine, and then that was deleted back to 300 because of emissions regulations. But it's a punchy car. Down there somewhere is the VAQ front differential, just on the back of the gearbox. And as I said, that's had the oil changed. Everything's been done on this car for sale. So yeah, find another. Now, because of the mileage of this car, unfortunately, I'm not able to drive it on the road, but I can drive it from the showroom here at APS to the workshop. Turn the key. Nice crisp start. No pop from the exhaust because it's stone cold now. Then into this May sunlight. Being very careful not to drive into anybody or anything. Nathan's waiting for me in the workshop. It's for me to slow down, which is probably a good idea. And that is the end of my drive in the Clubsport S. Now though, we can have a look underneath it, which will probably actually be more interesting than driving it. This is Dan from APS. Hello. How long have you been at APS?
Oh, I think roughly 7 years.
Okay, it's quite a long time then. So apparently you're the guy who prepares these for sale when they come in. You've obviously done a few, so you know your way around a Clubsport S.
Yeah, I mean, we look after quite a few Clubsport S's. We've seen quite a few, obviously, come through the doors for sale. So yeah, we know what we're looking for when we have a Clubsport S in.
Okay, well, give me a tour of this one then. Show us what's special about this car compared to your average one like mine that's done 16,000 miles, probably, you know, if it has been used. This, we've got 380 miles on the clock.
Yeah.
So how would you, I mean, straight away, it just looks, you could turn it upside down, it would be no less shiny.
No, I mean, it's pretty much as new condition as you'll get for a Clubsport S. And, you know, extremely low mileage compared to a lot of others that are out there.
Mm-hmm. It's taken me straight back to December 2016 when I bought mine and I was standing underneath it, putting some protectant on the metal bits. This hasn't had any of that.
No, this hasn't had any protection applied to the underneath of it. It was dry stored from new. I believe it had only been out a few times.
Presumably when it was dry and...
Yeah, I don't think it was ever taken out in the rain.
No.
And yeah, as you can tell from the underneath of it.
Yeah, okay. Give us the tour then. Show us all the bits that normally are not black and probably more close to brown.
I mean, the lower suspension arms here,
Yeah.
they tend to suffer quite a lot of corrosion, usually on the sort of front face of them.
Yes, yeah, that's good.
But as you can see, they are immaculate. The rear subframe as well usually tends to get slightly corroded, and the rear anti-roll bar.
Yeah, and this hasn't been prepared, has it? We've wiped a bit of dirt off, but it's not been. It's not like a show car where it's been dressed up to look like this. This is as original as you can get, which I think means a lot more from a collectability point of view.
Yeah, it's totally original. I mean, that's why we sort of haven't put any protection underneath it, just to keep it totally original.
Yeah, shocks go rusty around the DCC bit there, but that's perfect.
They often go very rusty around there.
I can't take my eye off the exhaust box because that's like a mirror.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything on it is exceptional. You know, the front lower arms.
That's a good point. So we've got aluminium subframe, but we've got steel wishbones that can, or lower arms, which can look a bit brown, but they are perfect.
Yeah, and obviously just everything, all the uprights, the track rod ends, the inner steering arms, everything on it is just extremely clean.
Those flimsy brake splash guards.
Yeah, still intact.
Yeah.
Which can't be said for a lot of higher mileage cars.
No.
They tend to rust through and fall off. Yeah, it is just a very, very nice example of a Clubsport S.
I hate to say it, but it's probably too good to use, isn't it? Unless you just want to go back in time to 2016 and pretend you're buying a new one and then just use it like, you know, people did. It'd just be a shame to undo this, really, with 2 owners and the mileage. It's tricky because it's a car that wants to be driven, but then it's such an important historical piece when it comes to the Golf. What would you do? Drive it or store it?
Ooh, I mean, I would probably drive it, but very sparingly, only on dry days, and just use it very sparingly if it was mine. But it's up to the new owner what they want to do with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, a very lucky new owner, whoever that may be. Now, just for reference, APS have kindly put this 73 reg 3,000 mile car up in the air, and you can see it's actually significantly different under here compared to the Clubsport S. So yeah, it's not rusty because it's probably not seen a winter yet or much of one, but you can see the dirt has got to everything and it's all lost its gleam, including the exhaust box. Okay, it's now time to answer the big question. Is this Mark 7 Golf GTI Clubsport S that was worth $33,995 brand new 7.5 years ago in 2016 worth £50,000 today in 2024? Well, we need to look at it from 2 perspectives, one being the previous owner and one being the next owner. So say you'd paid $33,995 for this when it was brand new, you'd have got over £10,000 profit on it if you sold it today, which sounds great until you realise $33,995 in 2016 is actually £44,000 or thereabouts today in 2024, according to the Bank of England's inflation calculator. So on paper, it's profit, but in reality, you're just breaking even. Then you have to factor in the cost of storing a car like this and storing it as well as this one has been. That hasn't allowed it to degrade in any way at all. Now, APS also do storage here in Brackley. They charge £200 plus VAT per month. That would equate to £17,000 £600 plus VAT to have stored this car here since it was new in 2016. There is cheaper car storage available, say £100 a month. That's still £8,800 for the life of this car to store it, and I bet you that it wouldn't have been preserved as well as it has been today. So if you think about it, actually, nobody's really making any money on this car when it comes to the previous owners. Looking at it from the perspective of the new owner, well, maybe you wished you'd bought one of these when they were new, but you'd missed the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Well, you have the opportunity now to make up for that and buy a brand new car today in 2024. Okay, you can't pay $33,995 for it. You have to pay a bit more. But like I said, $33,995 then is £44,000 today. Then you should really pay towards a bit of the storage because somebody's looked after it for you, so you can have effectively a brand new car today. And, well, as I've just said, the storage costs are a lot more than £44,000 to £50,000, £6,000. So really, if you look at the bigger picture, this car is a bargain, and I'm pretty sure it will continue appreciating. But that's just with one caveat, that you don't actually drive it, which is a bit of a problem because this car was designed to be driven and to be driven hard. But it's a nice problem to have, that I think you could still drive it on nice dry days a few times per year and keep the mileage below 1,000. I don't think you'd affect the value an awful lot, but you would need to store it very, very carefully to maintain it like this, or just go out and enjoy it and pretend it's 2016 all over again. As ever, guys, thanks for watching this Volks Wizard video, and big thanks to APS Specialist Vehicles here in Brackley, who have this amazing Time Warp Clubsport S for sale for, to be exact, £49,950. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon.